Welcome viewers to NENEH on Mamos Media, the media house of the future that links you globally. Today's edition is sponsored by NENEH Creations. NENEH Creations is owned by the beautiful CEO Nijena Bakante in Banjul. Her telephone number is 399-2759. For international customers, your orders can be sent via DHL. I received this beautiful executive outfit in perfect condition within 3 days. Keep these beautiful creations coming, Nijena of NENEH Creations. On behalf of Mamos Media and the whole production team of NENEH, we'd like to welcome Her Excellency Ambassador Ramzia Diab Ghanim. Her Excellency Ramzia Diab Ghanim is a well-known personality, political figure within the Gambian community, in the Gambia, and a role model for many of us feminists. Your Excellency, welcome to NENEH on Mamos Media. Your Excellency, briefly let us know what the last 9 months have been for you, Ambassador.
Good afternoon, viewers. Good afternoon, NENEH. Good afternoon, Mamos Media. Honored to be here, and thank you very much for that question. Well, as with all sectors globally, it's been very tough operating under the restriction of COVID-19 and the lockdowns that have been happening. And also it's been with a heavy heart finalizing our affairs, knowing that the embassy in Southeast Asia was going to close, and thinking about the plight of the citizens that in that region and the problems that they face. So it's been heart-wrenching, really, for me, for the past 9 months, going up and down, finalizing everything.
But I know in terms of the COVID-19, were there high rates of COVID-19 in Malaysia?
Oh yes, actually during the when the pandemic started, I took a flight to Banjul. I came officially to do some official functions, and then I was supposed to spend 2 weeks, and then I got stuck. So I was here from March until July before I was able to get out, because Malaysia was also on total lockdown. So there was no way, even if the airports were open in Gambia, I would not have been able to get to my destination in Malaysia. But thank God, with the staff over there, they were also on lockdown. They couldn't do anything, but at least they were able to make sure that the interests of our citizens there were met, and that I was relaxed in that area.
Okay. Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, Ramzia, what was your major responsibilities as Ambassador of Malaysia?
As Ambassador of Malaysia, I was honored and privileged to be serving my country's interest on the global level, on a governmental level as well, and most importantly as well, taking care of the interest of our citizens and their plights in Southeast Asia.
I understand that you indeed had other embassies, because it wasn't only specifically just Malaysia. Which were the other embassies that were under your auspice?
Thank you, NENEH. I was responsible covering the Southeast Asian countries. That is Malaysia as one, where we had the base, Philippines, Indonesia, Cambodia, Vietnam, Brunei. We could not cover Singapore, because once you are based in Malaysia, you cannot cover Singapore. If you are based in Singapore, you cannot cover Malaysia. It's like the China-Taiwan thing. Once you're in one country, you cannot serve the other. But basically, these were the, and Laos.
What about Thailand?
Thailand is supposed to be under my jurisdiction, but the problem was, before we came into office, the former regime had promised Thailand that they were going to open a full embassy. So when I got there and they got the letter, they said unless the government writes to them to tell them that they are not going to open a full embassy there anymore, then I would not be able to cover that area. But still, nevertheless, we were covering the interests of our citizens also in Thailand. Anytime they reach out to us, we try to cover their interest. Also, we were taking care of the Gambians in Taiwan as well. There have been few problems that the embassy successfully took care of with the citizens that were living in Taiwan, like their marriage papers, their immigration problems. We always liaise with the Thai embassy in Kuala Lumpur in order to take care of it, even though we were not covering Taiwan, but we were the nearest embassy that they could turn to.
But would you say that your jurisdiction was the biggest in terms of all of the serving ambassadors for our republic?
I would say yes.
Republic?
I would say yes, because Southeast Asia is a wide region. You know, it covers 9 countries in Asia, and I think we are one of the biggest actually. Even though with the staff we had only 4. That was myself as ambassador, my deputy, the finance attaché, and the protocol and welfare officer. So we are only 4 home-based staff, plus the local ones actually, the Malay.
Wow. How would you explain your experience as ambassador, covering such a huge jurisdiction, being a lady? What's your experience been with only 4 staff?
It was an eye-opener for me, actually, being that it was my first posting as ambassador, even though I've been in a job where it's like a diplomatic job, where you meet different diverse people, you know, but it was an eye-opener for me, and also it made me realize the plight and the problems of your citizens in the region that you serve, that normally you wouldn't know about, like the immigration problems, etc.
Thank you, Ambassador Diab. What has been the most challenging thing during your term as ambassador?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that question. The most challenging in my term as ambassador is the immigration problems in Southeast Asia. As you know, in Southeast Asia, they are very, very strict with their immigration laws. And we have quite a large number of Gambians concentrated in Southeast Asia, especially in Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei. And I normally have to intervene in most of these problems that they face with immigration, because in Malaysia, once you overstay, they arrest you, take you to the detention camp, and if there is no embassy there for you to contact, you have a big problem. So I have personally intervened in most of this. Another problem was that we faced a lot of challenges in terms of sale of Gambian passports to foreigners. We found out that a lot of other West African countries have been carrying Gambian passports. How they got it is a puzzle, and we have to, sometimes they call us to say there's a Gambian who has a problem, and then when we go there, on getting there, we realize they are not from Gambia, they are from another West African country. So that has been very challenging into getting, trying to liaise with the immigration office here and the Ministry of Interior in order to inform them of these challenges that have been happening, especially in Malaysia and Indonesia as well, because we have a lot of Gambians in Indonesia, both students and the business community. They have a large number of businessmen in Jakarta.
Thank you. Viewers, today's show is sponsored by Malena's Creation in Banjul. Call 399-2759 for your beautiful outfits. We are interviewing the Ambassador Extraordinary Ramzia, Her Excellency Ramzia Diab Ghanim, who is Gambia's ambassador sent to Malaysia. She's presently in Banjul, talking to us live from Banjul, the Gambia. Your Excellency, what are the reasons for you being recalled and the embassy closing down?
NENEH, as far as I know, the logic is quite unknown. I think that's better being answered by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs itself, because we have quite a large number of Gambians in Southeast Asia. It's very important for you to have an ambassador where your citizens are, especially as a place where you have a lot of problems that affects your citizens. And if there is no embassy there, you know, it's really a serious problem. So the logic for closing a region that is covered by 9 countries is still a puzzle to me, although the government had said that they had budgetary constraints, but and they are trying to see which other embassy in that region would be able to cover the Gambians that are in Southeast Asia, even though it's a bit far, because what I understood was that they will probably get India to cover, but it's very far. India is in West, and this is Southeast Asia. It takes 6.5 hours flight from India to Kuala Lumpur. So when these people have problems, I really don't know how fast they would be able to solve those problems. And also, you know, Malaysia has had a very close relationship with Gambia, you know, because they give a lot of scholarships in that region. Brunei also gives yearly scholarship, full scholarship to Gambians. There are lots of Gambians there. So it's really heart-wrenching to know when you have all these Gambian students studying in order to come back home and work for the development of their country.
I think that ties in nicely, Your Excellency, to my next question, where basically I wanted to know, since you were doing an amazing job in Malaysia and in Southeast Asia, I just wanted to know the impact of this closure on the Gambians in the region. And when I'm referring to this here, I'm basically talking about the Gambians that are, for example, victims and women of trafficking, and those that are stuck in these detention centers. How do you think this closure of this major embassy in this major region is going to affect their lives?
NENEH, it's going to affect their lives really seriously, because Southeast Asia is so far. And in Southeast Asia, it's not like in European countries where when you are caught overstaying, for example, they get your ticket, they get everything for you, and then you get deported. But in Southeast Asia, when you get caught, you are thrown into detention center. You have to contact your people. They are not responsible for your flight coming back. So if there's an embassy, normally the foreign office will write to the embassy to say, we have got a citizen here. And I have intervened in a lot of these problems where we try to get them out as soon as possible, get the number of their families, and if at all the embassy can do anything, we will be able to help in order to facilitate them leaving. In some instances, I have to personally use my own resources in order to help these people out, because those detention centers are not, they are not a little hotel. You know,
No.
yeah, the conditions are normally not very good. Also, there are instances where they've caught women, actually. There's a case in Indonesia where they caught a woman trafficker who turned out to be Gambian, and I had to personally intervene in order to see, because the laws there are very, very strict. You know, carrying drugs even when you are in the flight, arriving in Southeast Asia, the crew will announce the seriousness of drug trafficking into their country. So normally it entails a life sentence or death. So we have tried to personally intervene in that instance. I think you must have heard of a case where I had to personally go and make sure that the person gets the minimum of sentence possible, which we thought in the beginning that it was an impossibility. But like I said, everything you have to try. It's either a yes or a no. So we were able to get that. Because normally you think some of these people have, as I said, foreign Gambian passport and they are foreigners. But in this instance, it was a Gambian dealing with a foreigner, of course, and got herself in trouble. And these are the major problems that they face. Once you get caught, if you don't have any access to anybody, you'll be in that detention center for a long time. And sometimes if you find good immigration officers, they will help you, give you a phone in order to be able to contact your people. So without an embassy there, in order to take care of the needs of the Gambian citizens, it's heartbreaking to know what is going to happen, especially the students. You know, we have a large number of students in Malaysia and Indonesia, some of them scholarships, and 70% are being paid by their families.
But does that mean that if the embassies close down their sponsorship for their student loans, are there repercussions on that as well?
Not really, because that is between the government and the university, the Ministry of Education here and the university. And but in some instances, the stipend that used to be sent for the students that are on scholarship used to go through the embassy. Now, I'm not against them closing totally the embassy, if that is what they have decided, finally. But what I would have thought is that before closing an embassy, you should talk to the ambassador that is representing your country in that region, so we can deal with the situation that is happening there. And also, I was all in for, even if it is according to what they said, a budgetary constraint, we could downgrade the embassy into a consulate. So meanwhile, before closing the embassy, the ambassador can look around to see a prominent person in Malaysia that would be interested into the welfare of the Gambians there, so that when we leave and close the embassy, the consulate will be there in order to take care of the needs of its citizens in that region. Because you can see the whole region of Southeast Asia, we have no consulate. The only consulate we have in Southeast Asia is in Philippines, and we really don't have Gambians in Philippines. And this person, the consular who is very, very good, has been there for, like, she's been our consular for a long, long time, about 15 years, since the time of the former regime. And she continues still. She's helped a few Gambians there. You know, even when I was here, back home, there was a Gambian who sent me a message on Messenger, who got stuck there because of the pandemic and couldn't get out, and was caught by the immigration. So I had to liaise with the woman, who did a very good job into helping him out, trying to waiver his immigration fees, and trying to get him a clearance for him to get out of Philippines. So these are the problems that are really disturbing for me.
Yes, absolutely. Your Excellency, another question, just drifting from that a little bit, is our female sex workers, are there a large representation of Gambian female sex workers in the region, in Southeast Asia?
Not at all, not at all. I have not heard of any Gambian female sex worker in that region. Actually, to stay in Southeast Asia is very difficult. You cannot work there unless you have your papers are correct. It's not like in Europe or in America where you can always go by. If you are caught, it is it's a serious offense. And Gambians normally in that region are very well behaved because we don't have Gambians working in Malaysia. We have a concentration of students. In Indonesia also, we have like 44 businessmen who have big shops in Jakarta, which I have visited. And they are very good in liaising with the students. They have their monthly meetings, and sometimes I fly over to know exactly what is going on with them and their problems. And it's been like that. Gambian sex workers are not, they don't do that in that region, like probably elsewhere, but I don't know of any.
Okay. Your Excellency, thank you. Thank you for that. We know that there are how many, the Gambia government is, because of the budgetary constraints that they've informed that there are a couple of embassies that are going to be shut down. How many female ambassadors are presently serving under the Republic of the Gambia? And do you believe that the Republic can improve on that?
Yeah, that's been one of my major problems, I would say, or the way I think about this is, I've even discussed it before, that we have only 4 female ambassadors. That myself, the one in India, Russia, and Morocco. And I think the government could do more into getting more women into the foreign affairs, into the international sector. I think the government should, I urge them that we need more women in this region, because as far as I know, the women that they have sent, I don't think we've done a bad job. Our records speak for themselves. My record speaks for itself. I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but I have a belief in women power.
This is your
Women
opportunity
power.
to do that. Yes, do that. Yes, absolutely. And so in view of that, are we hoping that you will continue as ambassador? Because obviously we're hoping that the numbers, even if it stays at 4, stays as 4, but doesn't go below 4.
Well, it has gone below 4 now because I have been recalled, and I understand the ambassador in Russia has also been recalled, and I'm not sure whether there will be a posting elsewhere, but let's wait and see. Even for me, even if it's not me, I would love to see more women in the foreign offices as serving as ambassadors. You know, and I was quite impressed when I went to Malaysia, because the African ambassadors, we had a lot of women in different countries, and those countries that I have spoken to, they've got like maybe like 10, 12 women. You know, I've seen the Ugandan ambassador, Senegal, South Africa, Namibia, you know, all of them are women. And they have been telling me how many women and how the female ambassadors are doing in other regions, and how their government is promoting women into the sector of foreign affairs. And I think, I pray that we do the same here. because we've been fighting. I think whenever there is something, the women are always in the forefront. So I don't see why we should take a back seat now when it comes to dealing with the international world. I think we should have a very significant representation of the female sector.
Yeah. There's rumors circulating that both your removal and that of Her Excellency Jaina Baba's removal is political because of your support of the UDP. Is this true?
Well, NENEH, I wouldn't know that. I think it's best to ask the President's office to elaborate on that. Because for me, I don't see why partisan politics should be played into the diplomatic arena. You know, everybody has something you can do. We've all struggled, you know. As you know, I've been in this struggle for a long time during the Jammeh regime. I've been locked up because I wanted freedom. And now we have this freedom and we're in democracy. I think people should be appointed based on what they can do and not on partisan politics. I have not said anything about where I belong to or which party I belong to. So I think that question will be best answered from the President's office, because I really don't know why. Or I would have thought once you do a good job, when you come back, you'll be sent somewhere to continue doing that kind of job for your country. I'm not serving an individual, I'm serving my country. And I think I have done that very well, because whilst I was in Southeast Asia, I wasn't looking at who is UDP, who is NRP, or who is anybody that is Gambian and has arrived in Kuala Lumpur. I make sure I give you the equal opportunity that you deserve as a Gambian, because that's what the embassy is there for. So I wouldn't know why, because nobody has told me that it was because of a political affiliation, which I have not even declared. So I wouldn't know why. But you know, in governments, this is sometimes what happens. This has been happening in the Jammeh regime, and we thought that by now that would be a thing of the past. But I don't want to speculate or say anything that I am not sure of.
Thank you.
Your Excellency, what's next for Ambassador Ramzia Diab? Because we know that you're vocal and you're not going to disappear. You're a role model for many feminists, for many of us who look up to you and look at your achievements and see the immense impact you've had, not only in the diplomatic field, but in your area in the political area and political leadership. So what's next for you? What can we expect from you if you don't return as ambassador?
NENEH, I'm somebody who don't disappear easily when it comes to nation building, and especially helping my people in my country. I actually believe I have a quest for justice. My quest for justice has no boundaries, and I think I would have to continue wherever is going to improve the plight of the Gambians. I will definitely be there. You will be seeing me, inshallah, in the political arena. I'm a politician, and I think for me, the way some people see politics is different. For me, politics is patriotism. You have to be you have to care about what happens in your country. Be aware of what happens in your country. We have a lot of things that we can improve on as a nation, and that is where I want to concentrate. The plight of women, the plight of children. There's a lot of things going on now that is not fair on the women folk. And there are lots of young girls that are being abused all over. And there are lots of women or girls who have been exploited by tourists, for example, the pedophilia that is happening. And if I can do something about it, I will definitely be in the forefront. So I'm not disappearing very soon. If I'm not in the diplomatic field, I'll be doing something else definitely, for sure. Diplomatic field, I'll be doing something else definitely, for sure.
Definitely, thank you. And on that note, viewers, we have just had a conversation with Her Excellency Ramzia Diab Ghanim, Gambia's ambassador to the Republic of Malaysia. Ramzia, thank you so much for having this conversation with us. We'd also like to thank the CEO of NENEH's Creation, Jana Bakante, for the wardrobe sponsorship of this show. We want to thank the production crew of Mamos Media, both in the Gambia and in Oslo, for making this interview possible. We'd like to welcome the new producer on the show, Zainab Kamara, who has made an impact on Mamos Media in Oslo, and Lennox and Burry and everybody else on the ground. Your Excellency, thank you so much on behalf of all of us for honoring this interview.
Thank you, NENEH, for having me. It has been an honor.
Yeah, viewers, stay tuned in for more editions from Mamos Media, the media house of the future.
Anytime when I feel like I'm losing it, I tune just in time. Quality graphics that I see, Mamos TV, you everywhere I go, Mamos TV, you're the only one I know. Mamos TV, you've been growing day by day, day by day. Europe, Africa, USA, you always there, you always there. Daily news, sport, entertainment, Mamos always there. Mamos TV bring my cultural heritage. Mamos TV, not just another TV station.